Hey guys, today I'll be showing you another restoration project I've been working on, and this video is for Alan, who owns this beautiful 72 Minimoog. So guys, just feel free to watch. I always enjoy you guys watching, your comments, and always makes my day a little bit brighter here. But anyways, Alan, just going to go over it, show you that everything's functioning, give you guys a background of what all I had to do to this one, and also some historical documentation of Minimoogs here. This is actually serial number 1633, which makes it the 633rd Minimoog built. Now what's interesting is my personal unit's 1548, making it the 548th Minimoog built, which is actually 1 month apart from this one. So mine was made June 8th, 1972. This one was made July 14th, 1972. And the reason I'm documenting this is because this has some design change, which I didn't really know when it started, and we're narrowing it down to when they actually made some changes here within a month period. And so between June 8th and July 14th, they actually changed to what I call the 73 Minimoog wheels. And what this is not to be mistaken with 74 Minimoog wheels. So for those that don't know, I'm going to give you a little background here. So the first Minimoogs that actually had pitch and mod wheels, not sliders, was clear. And they're clear wheels like what you can see on my Minimoog. And then in 73 they went to these style wheels, and then in 74 they went to another smooth style wheel, but it was more of a cream color. And then in 75 they went to the ribbed wheels, which is found in all the Minimoogs all the way up to like 1980 something. The difference is that these are actually built just like the clear wheels, as in the fact they use a threaded stop. So it's actually a screw hitting when you hear that bottom out. In 74 they rounded the edges so it's not blocky, and then they also used a dowel pin as a stop. And it's the same dowel pin that's used in the ribbed wheels all the way up to 1980 something. So just a little bit of documentation there as far as some things that changed within a month's period, which is now kind of in the documentation here of when they actually started using these wheels. And so just kind of interesting stuff there. I just want to document that. But anyways, besides that, everything else is very much like a 72 Minimoog. You know, it's got the smooth front panel, not the leather textured interface panel. Now this one does have a few little scars, few little blemishes here and there. You can see a switch that's kind of damaged. It's got a bend in right there. But Alan didn't want to address all that. You know, these are what we call history marks in this situation. It's scars of its past. So it's kind of neat in some ways to keep some things scarred a little bit. Not every restoration is about getting everything precisely back to factory, but electronically wise, that's where I focus heavily on this particular unit. So anyways, what I had to do this one is it had a lot of issues, so it took me a little bit longer than the typical Minimoog. But it had an issue with the oscillator range settings, and it wasn't a common buffer board issue. You know, when you're missing the buffer board, you have interaction between the oscillators. Didn't have that problem necessarily. It had that problem, but we addressed it by I put a buffer board in there discreetly, so you don't even really know it's in there unless you opened it up. But it wouldn't range in the octaves. And oscillator 2 was bad to begin with. After I installed the buffer and started fixing some of the current, well, I started experiencing issues with oscillator 3 as well. And so I ended up having to do a whole new summing node setup. Had to put all new summing resistors in there, matched pair sets, and so got that fixed. Fix the oscillators. I also just went through and did all the preventive maintenance like I do on every Minimoog I get in here. I had a dead headphone amplifier, some shorted transistors, which I went on and just rebuilt it because there's two transistors shorted. There's one that was in the line, which, you know, I'm sure took a little bit of current draw from the short, probably pulled some current through it, so I went and replaced it as well. Once I got all that fixed, I noticed it had a noise in the oscillators like FM synthesis, without FM synthesis engaged, or without modulation engaged. Let me rephrase that. And I started looking around. I could see 328 kilohertz on the actual negative 10 volt rail. And so it actually it had some hysteresis going on within the differential amplifier pair of the negative 10 volt power supply. So I had to rebuild that half of the power supply and get that fixed. So that was an issue. So got that all addressed some voltage sensing problems it had, which is very common on these things. And it now plays great. But conditioned the wood, went through and conditioned all the wood. I took about 7 coats of conditioner to get this wood back into good quality health there. Rebuilt the key bed. Now the key bushings had already been replaced, so I didn't have to replace the key bushings. They were still good. But the key height was out of adjustment, as well as the contact travel was out of adjustment. So I had to adjust the contact travel as well as the key height. And washed the keys while I was at it. Well, took the keycaps off, cleaned them up. You know, just trying to make this thing look as great as it sounds now. And I think you're going to be really happy with it, Alan. It's a really great instrument now. Glued part of the chassis back together. It had some chassis separation, so rebonded that, pulled it together, and got that rebonded. And so it all looks really good. I wish my lighting was better in here, but it was this area right here. But yeah, anyways, I'll just give you a walk around here so you can see this thing, just how clean it looks. It cleaned up really nice. Let me show you, this is your serial number here, 1633. And one last thing I had to do, and this actually happened last night during burn-in. When I took this thing home with me, I take these things home for burn-in, so I put 9-hour burn-in on these in particular after the rebuild to make sure everything holds up, check calibration, check current draw, check temperatures, all that good stuff, make sure they hold up. And when I got it home, I couldn't get the front interface panel back up. It was stuck down. And so I got looking at it, and this thing here was actually mounted upside down, and the hinge was on the wrong side. So I took this off and I remounted it correctly, so now it lays flat in the chassis. It don't grab on the screws when you shut it. So you shouldn't have any issues with trying to open it. If you did have any problems, that's addressed now. So that's all fixed. New power cord, brand new power cord on it. Here's all your old parts here. You can just see some of the parts in there. Capacitors, new pilot light as well, so you got a brand new pilot light on this one. New power cord, just a bunch of old components there. Just everything I pulled out of this thing's in a bag that'll be going home with it. So that's it. That's really what I've done. So now I'm going to just show you how this thing works. Let me put the camera on the tripod here and I'll go through all the functions for you, Alan, so you can hear this thing in action and just kind of get a good idea of what you're getting back. I know it's always kind of hard when my clients don't come get them, which I mostly do with online business anyways. Most of the stuff's always shipped, so it's rarely I get to see my clients. But anyways, Alan, we'll just start. I got all the oscillators set at 32, and you can just hear how good this thing sounds. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. It's actually my so here's oscillator 1. There's oscillator 2. Oscillator 3. And just to show you how accurate these things are, we can actually set this thing to footage of 2. So you can hear just how great that sounds, even in the 2 footage. And even when you start changing the oscillators in octave ranges, you won't hear an interaction because there's now the buffer board installed. Source. So as you can just hear how great those oscillators work. I'll go through the wave shapes so you can hear how those are working. Once again, I'll do the octave ranges by themselves so you can hear how they work. Oscillator 1, oscillator 2, so there's just 2 oscillators, oscillator 3. Oscillators on. So as you can hear, your oscillator section is working great. Your noise source works. So your noise source is working. Your filter works great. We'll go in and put this thing in self-oscillation. And I calibrated as well, so it's in tune. And that's just your filter. We combine the oscillators. We can also modulate that. So anyways, you can hear your filters working great as far as a audio source and tracking the keyboard. And of course your envelope generator works. Since we're already in the filter, I'll show you that your envelope controller works for your filter. So we'll start with a fast decay. Your sustain level works. And also your attack time works. Bring it down in frequency just a little bit. It goes way up there. Anyways, you can hear how your filter works. We'll combine the oscillators here. A little FM synthesis here. your modulation, all that works, film synthesis through the oscillator. We can also modulate the oscillators as well. Let me go here. We'll go back here on the low frequency here. You can also hear your pitch wheel works. It's got that dead center, or dead zone. So when we actually play it, you'll see it when I wiggle it within the detent, it won't change the pitch until I get outside that detent. You see how that works. Also, one other problem you had with this Minimoog I forgot to bring up was your noise source wouldn't enter the modulation. So this knob here, we're in oscillator 3 right now. It's using oscillator 3 as a modulation source. We can turn this knob to noise, and it wouldn't work. And what I found there is you had an open coupling capacitor, causing this to not get the red noise into your modulation mix. Now you can hear it's actually getting into the mix. And of course we can modulate the filter with that as well. Combine the two. So anyways, you can hear all that works. So all your modulation stuff works now. You heard the pitch bend. I'll go over the loudness control as well so you can see that works. So we'll go here with a fast decay. Just a click. Your sustain level works. So your decay works, your attack works. So you can hear all that's working. So overall your Minimoog is working great, your 440 Hertz works. And also your headphone works. It's hard to hook headphones up to my camera here, but that all works. Tested all that out. It's had a full 9-hour burn-in, full calibration. I think I'll be really happy with this thing, Alan. It's a really great Minimoog now. A lot different instrument than what it was on arrival. It's a good playing instrument now. And also your glide does work. I know I've put glide in it a little bit, but I'll show you that the glide circuit works. So we'll go here and set this up. These early Minimoogs, they just have a grit to them that's just I love. They have a different sound. But anyways, I just want to take a minute for you, Alan, and make you a video, show you this thing in the final stages here. Next thing, I'm going to be boxing up and getting ready to head out to you. But for you guys that watch my videos, once again, I always appreciate you guys watching. I always appreciate the support. And there'll be more to come here very soon. But take care, and we'll be in touch.